Hello, this is the Channel 1 Newsroom. We're broadcasting live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano here in Accra. I am Charles Osukumi. Coming up. Central Town District in the Volta region faces looming health crisis as poor sanitation and flooding persist.
We have become so much irresponsible when it comes to taking care of our environment. We work with the assembly so that we make sure we enforce our bylaws on sanitation.
Also coming up, Joint Police and Forestry Commission Task Force seizes 3 excavators in Jimira Forest Galamsey crackdown.
We are entering the forest reserve, but we realize that the illegal mining, as part of their sabotage plan, they planted an excavator blocking the road so that we cannot get access the forest reserve.
Also coming up, heavy rains flood Wa municipality. Dozens displaced as authorities target illegal structures.
This is the heaviest rain we have recorded so far, and that actually created a situation. But we've also realized that people also build on waterways, and there's this blockage. So I've tasked my engineers and then the building inspectors to mark these particular houses.
Violent standoff at Kibi Goldfield site in the eastern region leaves a mother of 7 fighting for life.
Called the MD severally. He said he will never come. And I saw some element of racist in his voice. He said this palace, he will never come. If I have any discussion, I should come to his office. So I wrote him a letter that I don't need him in any of my land.
And later, Communication Minister Sam George slams MultiChoice over the rejection of DSTV fee reduction calls.
I believe that the Ghanaian people have been fleeced and exploited for too long. I wrote back to the NCA on Monday and directed the NCA in that letter to suspend the broadcasting license of DSTV effective 7th of August 2025.
Grateful to you for your time. Let's get into the details of our stories. And the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Samuel Nate George, has criticized MultiChoice Ghana over their response to calls for a reduction in DSTV subscription fees, describing the company's position as illogical. His reaction follows a statement issued by MultiChoice on Sunday, August 3, in which the firm argued that lowering subscription fees as demanded by the minister was not feasible. Channel 1 News' Manuel Ayama reports.
I believe that the Ghanaian people have been fleeced and exploited for too long. I wrote back to the NCA on Monday and directed the NCA in that letter to suspend the broadcasting license of DSTV effective 7th of August 2025 if they fail to effect a reduction in their bundle prices.
For many Ghanaians, the minister's directive giving DSTV an ultimatum to reduce subscription fees or risk having its broadcasting license suspended was widely welcomed.
It's been a long time that these people have been cheating Ghana when it comes to prices of such, facilities, or let me say DSTV, etc., etc. And I believe that he has to honor his promise as said in the briefing or the accountability series.
What initially appeared to be a positive development has now faced resistance. In a statement signed by Alex Otri, Managing Director of MultiChoice Ghana, and issued on Sunday, August 3, the company reiterated its commitment to keeping prices as affordable as possible without compromising service quality. However, it stressed that reducing subscription fees as suggested by the minister was not practicable. The company further indicated its willingness to engage constructively with the minister to ensure compliance with the law, while expressing confidence that the minister would also act in good faith. Responding via a Facebook post, the communications minister described MultiChoice's stance as illogical. He disclosed that the company proposed to maintain its current subscription rates but offered to halt the repatriation of revenue to its headquarters, a suggestion he found unacceptable. The minister reaffirmed his readiness for constructive dialogue but insisted that discussions must focus on achieving a reduction in subscription fees.
If Nigerians are paying equivalent of $29, DSTV must charge same here in Ghana, or we will suspend their broadcasting license.
Now, moving forward, both parties say they are open to a constructive engagement. But for the Honorable Minister, it must be centered on price reduction. Will MultiChoice budge? Well, only time will tell. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Manuel Ayama.
Let's stay with this story. Joining us live via Zoom to have a conversation on this matter is the West African Regional Director for CATS International, Apia Kusi Adumako. Thank you, sir, for joining us on the Channel 1 Newsroom. First of all, what do you make of this latest statement from MultiChoice? They say they're unable to reduce prices as demanded by the minister.
Good evening and good evening to your viewers. I think MultiChoice has not demonstrated any good faith with regards to this matter. I mean, the minister is not talking out of nothing. If nothing at all, we've seen that the Ghanaian city has appreciated since March or so. And it is fair and reasonable that MultiChoice also passes on the city appreciation gain to consumers. If you will recall, somewhere in March, MultiChoice increased its services tariffs by 15 to 18% across board. And I mean, it would have been reasonable if MultiChoice could have even reverted to the increased prices as a way of showing that they have Ghanaians customers at heart. And MultiChoice can choose not to reduce its prices because it does not face competition from any other provider. You know, Ghanaians are stuck to MultiChoice because MultiChoice has a premium content for its sports programs.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the license for broadcast for the EPL and the Champions League, for example, is done at exclusive license to MultiChoice. So in Africa, no company has access to those premium content. And this is what has resulted in MultiChoice becoming dominant in the TV market. And I think that if the minister wants to bring this issue to finality, we find ourselves in a free market economy. And so we cannot necessarily dictate prices to businesses. If MultiChoice is not trying to comply through the moral suasion by the minister, I think that the minister can use more of a market approach. When you go to the US, for example, all sports program, whether the baseball, the football, the hockey, or whatever, they don't license. No station has the sole right monopoly on those content.
Okay.
But in Africa, we have allowed this thing to persist. And it will be very helpful if trade ministers in Africa, if ministers of communications in Africa can come together and also challenge the sole licensing that the Europeans give to MultiChoice that has allowed the MultiChoice to become dominant in the market.
So that should be the goal, right? Create the market. I was asking if that should be the goal, to create a competitive market instead of asking a company that has a monopoly to reduce their prices.
Yes. Now, MultiChoice doesn't face any competition in this market. It become more like Warabeba. Whether you like them, you come to buy their product. But if MultiChoice were to be facing competition in the pay TV market, I'm sure that the minister would not even have to go there to tell them to reduce their prices. So if they are failing to comply, I think that we should also see how can we break the monopoly. And that is a medium to long term. In the short term, this thing cannot be achieved. In the short term, we will not be able to break MultiChoice monopoly in the market. But the minister's action in terms of suspending their license by 7th is also not a sense of bad signal to investors. If you recall, on Friday, when the minister was having the press briefing, the minister also talked about inviting companies into the business outsourcing centers in Ghana. And on one breath, you are inviting people to come and invest in Ghana. And then on other breath, you are telling others that if you don't reduce your prices, we are going to shut your licenses. This sounds, more of a. It doesn't sound well for businesses that want to invest in Ghana. So we need to find a more market approach in resolving this matter. And the market approach is through competition, working with other African. Nigeria is the biggest market for MultiChoice in Africa. If Ghana can work with Nigeria, Egypt, Cameroon, and Kenya, I think that collectively we'll be able to address the dominance that MultiChoice has in this pay TV market.
Okay. Um, well, until we have a competition for MultiChoice, looks like we're stuck with them. But they did say in their statement that they cannot reduce prices in the manner that's been demanded by the minister. So it means that there are other ways they can reduce prices. Should the minister be looking forward to, say, call them back to the table and look at other ways where they can find common grounds and get what the minister is looking for?
Yes, I would say that as I said earlier on, the MultiChoice has not demonstrated good faith to Ghanaians. And let me tell you one thing. When you are a subscriber to MultiChoice service and you have a network problems and it cannot be resolved remotely, and you call MultiChoice, they will give you a number of a third-party agent to come and fix it for you. Once the person comes, you pay the person. And that is very wrong because you are in law, we have what you call benefit and burden principle. He who enjoys the benefit must also enjoy the burden. I pay a monthly subscription fee to you as a MultiChoice. And so if my network has a problem and it cannot be resolved remotely, whoever comes should be the one, you should be paying that person, not me, the subscriber. And all of these things are happening largely because of the monopoly and the dominance that is in this market. And I think that also in the short and medium term, we also need to get our consumer protection laws and competition laws in place so that some of these things can be curtailed because they don't feel any constraint. They don't feel any constraint to do what they do in other markets because we don't have the relevant laws here. And I think that the Minister of Communications and the Trade Minister can work together to sponsor the competition and the consumer protection law, which has been on the drawing board for the past 18 years.
Okay. All right, sir. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Apia Kusi Adumako. He is the West African Regional Director of CATS International. Well, that story keeps on, let's see what happens within the week. Whether MultiChoice will budge and reduce prices. The minister has given August 7 that if MultiChoice does not reduce prices as he's demanded, he's going to revoke their license. Let's see what happens as the story unfolds. Away from that, the Lankwantana Madina Municipal Assembly has designated the Madina Red Coast slum as a security zone after yet another destructive fire swept through the community. Officials say the decision follows an on-site assessment and is driven by the recurring and increasingly severe nature of fires in the area. Sunday afternoon's inferno tore through rows of makeshift wooden structures and metal containers, leaving a trail of devastation. Despite a swift response from firefighters, the blaze destroyed utility poles, reduced residential and commercial units to ashes, and wiped out traders' goods. Channel 1 News' Christopher Kevin Asima has more in this report.
This latest fire erupted in the morning, consuming several wooden and metal structures before the Ghana National Fire Service finally brought it under control. According to the service, the emergency call came in at 12:36 hours, with the first tender from the Medina Fire Station arriving in just 4 minutes. Reinforcement followed as 4 additional appliances from Legon, Abilengbe, and headquarters joined the operation to contain the flames. Some frustrated residents who spoke to Channel 1 News suspected foul play and are urging government to intervene.
Actually, the fire, this is not the first time. This is not the second. This is not the third. In fact, this is not even the 20th. It has been happening. Latest 5-6 months. You see what happened right now? I give you up to tomorrow. When you come, there will be another new kiosks mounted there.
You know, anytime there is fire, we do see the smoke. So sometimes we get closer to see what is happening. And I think this is the 3rd time this is happening. And usually when we interview the people within Redco, they tell us there are 4 brothels in this area and they fight against each other. Sometimes there are reprisal attacks, so that one will set fire against the other, so that all the girls involved in that brothel will move to another brothel.
It's a form of a business for some people. You understand? At least that's their way of renewing their rent in the form of getting their money. At least if they give it to these people, they finish spending their money, they will find a way and means to burn the whole place so that they can give it to a new tenant again and take their money. So after the fire there, it's something that is always happening. And it will not stop happening until the government or the opinion leaders, they come to our aid.
After assessing the situation, the Municipal Chief Executive Ibrahim Faila Fuseni declared the Redco slum a security zone. He cited the frequency and intensity of these fires and emphasized the need for strict enforcement measures to prevent further disaster.
Currently, I think myself and the coordinating director, some of the management, we just met immediately, and then we took a decision based on the number of times that the fire keep occurring at this particular area. Therefore, we declare this area as a security zone. So we will not allow anyone to put any structure for now until we determine otherwise before. Because looking at the number of times within just this year, it's our 4th time, this is the 4th time, and we are just in the 2nd quarter or going to the 3rd quarter. I mean, how on earth are we going to be looking at this or sitting aloof? I mean, looking at what's going on? No, we should ride the bull by the horn. And therefore, that's the reason why we took that decision. And henceforth, no one is taking any structure or any container back there. No.
The La Nkwantana Medina Municipal Assembly says the reoccurrence of fire in this particular area is posing a threat to the community and has therefore declared the area as a security zone until further notice. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Christopher Kevin Asima.
You are still watching the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Still ahead. Violent standoff at Kibi Goldfield site in the eastern region leaves a mother of 7 fighting for her life. We have details in a bit. Please stay with us.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. If you knew, it's your boy. Kill them all, kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the great. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
Drowning in deadlines, data running wild. Let's fix this together. Join the evolution. Join the sharpest minds in HR at the HR Connect Conference 2025 on August 8 at the Marvin Peak Hotel, Accra, under the theme Empowering HR Excellence, Leveraging Data, Resilience, and Wellness for a Thriving Workplace. It's not just another conference, it's strategy, tech, wellness, and a few smart laughs too. Panels, keynotes, real talk, and real solutions. Let's lead, connect, and transform the way we work. For further inquiries and bookings, please call on 0541 222 365 to secure your seat. HR Connect Conference 2025. Lead, connect, transform.
Yeah, welcome back. This is the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Now, heavy rains on Saturday night, July 26, 2025, triggered widespread flooding across communities in the Wa municipality of the Upper West region. The downpour, described as one of the heaviest in years, displayed dozens of families submerged, major roads and cut-off areas such as Zingu, Kambali and Kumbehi from the rest of the municipality. In response, the Wa Municipal Chief Executive, Alhaji Issa Nura Danwana, has directed that all structures illegally built on waterways and wetlands be marked for possible demolition. The move forms part of measures to avert future disasters. Martina Masonu Zabok reports.
Several suburbs, including Kambale, Kombiehe, Choko, Doble, and Zimu, were among the hardest hit after hours of torrential rainfall overwhelmed drainage system, flooding homes, farmlands, and roads. Dozens of families were forced to evacuate, while others watched helplessly as flood waters destroyed property. In Zingu, the only road linking the community to Wa town was washed away, cutting off access to essential services like healthcare, markets, and schools. Some residents of Doble have sought refuge with relatives, while others are calling for immediate government assistance. Wa MC Alhaji Issa Nura Danwana described the incident as one of the most severe in recent memory, blaming poor urban planning and inadequate drainage for the recurring floods.
This is the heaviest rain we have recorded so far, and that actually created a situation. But we've also realized that people also build on waterways, and there's this blockage. So I've tasked my engineers and then the building inspectors to mark these particular houses. And also, we also call for an emergency meeting of all the affected people and all those people still within these wetlands.
He also hinted at long-term solutions, including the construction of an irrigation dam to manage flood waters, and appealed for government and donor support.
This is a very heavy project. We are appealing to donor communities, central government, and other agencies, hydrological department, and others to come to our aid so that we'll be able to construct a dam.
Honorable Abdul Wahab, Assembly Member for Zingu and the presiding member of the Wa Municipal Assembly, expressed grave concern for his constituents' safety and welfare.
Our road to Wa Main Town has been cut off. Then as we speak now, we cannot come to Wa or go back to our homes or even go back to our farms.
Residents of Zingu are urging authorities to repair a collapsed bridge that has disrupted access to farm and markets.
Look at my farm. The rain washed away all the corn away. Now I'm standing, I don't know what to do.
I was to go to Zingu to visit my people, but it rains yesterday before I came. So when I came, I get to realize that the place, I couldn't cross the place.
Residents and commuters of Zingu are appealing to the government to help fix their broken bridge. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Masono Martina, Zingu.
Now, a public health crisis is unfolding in parts of the Central Town District as choke drains, poor sanitation and uncollected waste continue to cause flooding and expose residents to waterborne and mosquito-related diseases. Some residents admit they share parts of the blame for failing to regularly clear the drains, but insist the problem is beyond their capacity to fix alone. They are calling on authorities to provide waste bins and establish a structured refuse collection system. Channel 1 News' Volta regional correspondent Desmond Salasiago visited the community and filed the following report.
Flooding in several communities within the Central Town District has sparked serious health concerns as outbreaks of typhoid, malaria and cholera rise. Residents and health officials point to clogged drainage systems and poor sanitation as the major culprits. Communities such as Adidome, Mafikumasi and Bakpa have in recent weeks endured stagnant floodwaters following persistent rains and blocked gutters, conditions that health experts say are breeding grounds for mosquitoes and harmful bacteria. Some residents consider their own negligence, such as indiscriminate dumping and failure to deseal drains, has worsened the problem. They are urging authorities to strictly enforce sanitation laws and support them with essential waste management facilities.
We have become so much irresponsible when it comes to taking care of our environment. We work with the assembly so that we make sure we enforce our bylaws on sanitation. The habit of taking care of our own environment, being responsive and responsible as far as our environment is concerned. So yes, we would have to start enforcing the laws.
Assembly members and local leaders acknowledge the growing crisis. They say they are engaging the Central Town District Assembly for urgent interventions, including the provision of waste bins and proper refuse collection systems to curb pollution.
We have informed the District Assembly that we cannot continue doing this task every weekend. And so we have called on them that once we are able to take care of this work, we want them to put in measures that will give us lasting solution to these particular challenges that we have. For example, they can provide dustbins at vantage areas. They can also ensure that there is a strict task force around the community. This is the major market area that we have in the district.
Meanwhile, during a cleanup exercise, District Chief Executive Doji Adesemonyi told Channel 1 News the Assembly remains committed to assisting communities to prevent flooding and related health risks. He, however, urged residents to adopt proper waste disposal practices to keep the environment clean.
Largely, we are trying to allow the free flow of water so that the place will not be flooded, one. Then two, the spread of diseases such as cholera, such as malaria, because when this place is choked, the water gets stagnant. Then you see mosquito breeding here. I want to advise them that in as much as they produce the rubbish, they should find a better way of disposing them.
Residents in the Central Town District of Authority are calling on authorities to provide them with waste bins to prevent the spread of diseases as a result of choking of gutters and other waste areas. Reporting for Channel 1 is from MultiChoice, Central Town District of Authority. My name is Desmond.
Now to the Eastern region, where a mother of 7 is fighting for her life after sustaining gunshot wounds when soldiers providing security for Kibi Goldfields Limited allegedly fired warning shots during a confrontation with residents of Sama in the Fantiako South district of that region. Channel 1 News' Neonia Mate Kanaku reports from the community.
The victim, Janet Ko, a trader, was among residents fleeing the chaotic scene after youth attempted to prevent soldiers from arresting 2 community members during a standoff with the mining firm. Locals accused Kibi Goldfields Limited of mining within the buffer zone and the main cause of the Akusu River. Tensions escalated yesterday when residents stopped the company from operating near the Sacred River. In response, the company allegedly called in the military personnel who arrested 2 young men believed to be community leaders. When the youth tried to block the road to prevent the soldiers from taking away the suspects, the military fired multiple warning shots to disperse the crowd. Caught in the melee, Janet Kuhn, who was selling roasted corn near the roadblock, was struck in the right leg by a stray bullet. She was rushed to the Xavier Memorial Hospital in Osiem, where she remains on admission. Eyewitness Opeyin Kwabna Sari, who helped transport Janet to the hospital, described the scene as terrifying.
It's a mini lady, a woman in Nani Rafio. See a Rafio open, said the net to know, of a key to an account. And I'm here, say, Moje too. It's me, P. Cardi, and he'll be a granny. To be more to Nisia Bontin, Namadenitas.
When Channel 1 TV visited the Saman community, tensions were still high. Residents, including those who claim to have suffered brutalities, are demanding justice and the immediate release of the 2 arrested men. This is not the first clash linked to mining along the Akusu River. In 2019, a young man named Bismarck was arrested for illegal mining in the area and sentenced to 15 years in prison by Koforidua High Court.
On to the 2 hour open, we have said, a pharmacy say, and a Timmy Pepper, the carrier, as I'm a pharmacy. The moon as a for the Canada packet, no more to share. And a man is strong money at the end of a
Briefing the media, the assembly member for Achim Saman Electro Area, Desmond Ofori Abrakwa, confirmed that Kibi Goldfields Limited had been operating within the Akusu River despite objections. The chief of Achim Saman, Berima Dr. Ofori Nyakon Tetepo, while condemning the youth for vandalizing a mining company vehicle, criticized the company for failing to engage traditional leaders and the community before carrying out operations.
Called the MD severally. He said he will never come. And I saw some element of racism in his words. He said this palace, he will never come. If I have any discussion, I should come to his office. So I wrote him a letter that I don't need him in any of my land. Because such utterances and behavior actually frame some of this agitation.
Assembly members from 6 operational areas of Kibi Goldfields Limited, Esia Katrafo, Abompe, Osino Ofuase Nketease, Osino Achiase, Dwaso, and Saman have jointly petitioned the Fantiakwa South District Security Council over what they describe as unacceptable mining practice by the company.
They deceive the community because what they came in for is not what we're experiencing today. So based on this, we've written petitions to serve the DC, everybody, including the Kibi Goldfield.
For Channel 1 TV, Neil Ni Amate Kanako, Saman, Fantiakwa South District.
Now, a joint operation by the Ghana Police Service and the Forestry Commission has led to the seizure of 3 excavators during a crackdown on illegal mining activities in the Jimira Forest Reserve. A police statement dated August 2 indicated that the operation was triggered after Inspector General of Police Christian Teto Yowonu acted on a Facebook post by Joy FM journalist Erastus Asare Donkop, which reported that illegal miners had invaded the protected forest. Upon arrival, the team learned that the Forestry Commission, working with the Ashanti Regional Police Command, had already moved in and seized 1 excavator after the miners fled the area. The task force continued into the forest for further investigations. The Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force, led by DSP Karim Mahama and ASP Alhaji Bawa Abdul Jalil, was swiftly deployed to verify the claims and enforce the law.
So we are entering the forest reserve, but we realize that the illegal mining, as part of their sabotage plan, they planted an excavator blocking the road so that we cannot get access the forest reserve. But technically, as our team is, our boys were able to start the machine and they gave way for the convoy to move into the forest reserve to ascertain what exactly is happening inside the forest reserve.
This morning we had an open source information from Erastus Asare Donko of Joy FM, which posted on his Facebook wall with regards to the land degradation of the forest in as far as illegal mining is concerned. A group of 5 excavators together with their illegal miners were now settling and then trying to destroy the forest reserve. So because of that, after picking the information as the Inspector General Police Special Anti-Piracy Task Force, we moved to this area. On our way, we had information that the Ashanti Regional Police Command had already come here this morning and they were able to track and then retrieve one excavator. And lo and behold, we decided we should still have to move to this area to see how best we can still ascertain the story for ourselves. And basically, on our way, something happened. I think GSP will continue with that aspect as we were coming here, what we met on the way.
Yes, just taking it over from where Aspo Jalil have ended. Whilst we're entering the Jamara Forest Reserve, you all witnessed that there was an abandoned excavator permanently blocking the way not to gain us access to the forest reserve. But our men used their technical ability and moved the excavator out of way, and we accessed the forest.
This is still the Channel 1 Newsroom on Channel 1 TV. Still ahead. Ghana records sharp rise in Empox cases, sparking public health concerns. The news will be back shortly. Please don't go away.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you bank like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thank you for staying with us here on the Channel 1 Newsroom. Now let's do this very worrying story, because Empox is making a worrying comeback in Ghana, with the Ghana Health Service reporting a sharp rise in infections. Since the country confirmed its first case in 2022, the numbers have surged rapidly, with 20 new cases and 1 death recorded so far, bringing the total cases to 302. This surge has raised concerns over the lack of adequate public education on the disease. Channel 1 News' Melody Fafa Potufe has the details.
Empox, a viral disease previously known as monkeypox, is caused by the monkeypox virus. It is typically marked by symptoms such as fever, headache, muscle pain, backache, fatigue, and swollen lymph nodes. Ghana reported its first case of Empox on May 24, 2022, when 5 infections were confirmed. Fast forward to July 2025, the Ghana Health Service has documented alarming spikes. On July 10, 7 new cases were reported. On July 18, 21 new cases were reported. On July 22, 23 new cases and 1 death, and 20 new cases on August 3, pushing the national tally to 302. The latest increase in fatality in just days represents the steepest weekly jump since the virus first appeared in the country. Despite these developments, public sensitization remains minimal.
Most people are not aware of it because most people are sharing clothes from an infected person. Now, once you come in contact with the person who has monkeypox, now this monkeypox, now once you sweat and I come and wear your clothes, eventually I get contacted with the virus. Now, people don't know it is called Empox. For me now, I got confused when you say Empox because now I only know of monkeypox.
Now, say, man and the man, as a den, and
you can talk me about it.
It is a monkeypox, no? A boa. Say, never now, The team visited the University of Ghana. Similar to our interactions on the streets of Accra, there is little or no awareness of the disease.
Balls on the skin of a human being, and then it's sometimes soft. I think they can live with it. They can sit, but I sometimes imagine they could sit. But I've experienced one in the church hall, and I'm okay now. So I think I'll search more about it.
No, please. I've never heard about it.
You've never heard about it?
As for the statistics, I haven't gotten any, but then I learned some of the cases had been recorded here in Ghana.
Meanwhile, Public Health Director at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwin, says plans are underway to expand outreach programs, particularly targeting schools and universities.
Ghana Health Service and together with the Ghana Education Service has come out with a guideline for dissemination. I think that maybe the focus was mainly on the primary and secondary. We've also scaled it up to involve the tertiary level, so that everybody knows the risk that pertains when you're exposed to the virus. So we will scale up our intervention. I think for now, what we have done is that we develop a number of tools that will help us achieve our purpose. What we need to do now is to scale up and expand the level of our interventions.
A member of Parliament Health Committee, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, has criticized the government for what he calls a poor response in raising awareness about the disease.
Government handling of the Empox, I would say it's very abysmal. Let's not joke with our health, especially when viral conditions are involved. You see, if I ask you now, you are among the top 1% best media houses in Ghana. If I ask you now, what are the Empox protocols? Go straight away to the streets of Kokomemle and do a quick survey and ask if the Ghanaian knows what they should even do to control Empox. It is escalating now.
Monkeypox is real, but it is evident that the awareness creation and advocacy towards the disease is little or even non-existent. The Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health definitely has a long way to go. Reporting for Channel 1 News, Melody Fafa Botufe.
Let's stay with health. Experts in the field are sounding the alarm over a surge in human papillomavirus infections in Ghana and across sub-Saharan Africa, a trend that significantly contributes to rising cervical cancer cases and related deaths among women. They are calling for an urgent scale-up in HPV vaccination efforts. Channel 1 News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Doris Lonta reports.
Cervical cancer is the fourth most common cancer affecting women globally, with more than 600,000 new cases reported each year. Sadly, over half of those diagnosed lose their lives, and 90% of these deaths occur in developing countries, including Ghana. While advanced nations have systems in place for early detection and treatment, Ghana and many sub-Saharan African countries struggle with limited diagnostic tools and inadequate health infrastructure. This often leads to late diagnosis and higher mortality rates. To address this, the government of Ghana, the Ghana Health Service, and the World Health Organization, WHO, are rolling out the HPV vaccine to curb infections and reduce the cervical cancer burden. At a stakeholder meeting in Kumasi on the vaccine rollout, WHO country director urged directors of education and other partners to actively support the campaign. The engagement forms part of nationwide efforts to raise awareness ahead of the vaccine's official introduction in September 2025.
This vaccine will target girls, adolescent girls,
starting off with a campaign that will target girls between 9 to 14 years of age in September. That's when it will be launched. Following that, it will then be introduced into the routine vaccination program so that there is a sustainable way in which we are introducing, providing the vaccine.
She stressed the importance of equipping young girls with accurate information on HPV, cervical cancer, and the benefits of vaccination so they can make informed decisions and fully embrace the campaign.
As much as we will be promoting vaccination, at the same time we are encouraging that we meet the other targets for the holistic control of or elimination of cervical cancer, which is early diagnosis, screening, and treatment. So that aspect also needs to be scaled up.
Dr. Fred Adumako Boateng, Ashanti Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. William Kwame Amankra Apia, Ashanti Regional Director of Education, and Dr. Med Salom, Acting Program Manager for the expanded program on immunization at the Ghana Health Service, have all pledged their commitment to ensure the successful rollout of this life-saving initiative. Health experts have called for a collaborative effort in educating and sensitizing the public about the virus, as well as supporting the vaccination process. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti Region.
Now, a coalition of Ga traditional priests has expressed its displeasure over moves to demolish a portion of a warehouse belonging to the Magdan Group at Spintex. According to the leader of the coalition, Lakpa Wulomo, the owner of the property, Daniel Macaulay, is an indigene of La and should not be treated in such manner. There is more in this report filed by Channel 1 News' Philip Nilate.
It appears that the dust on the issue regarding the demolition of a warehouse belonging to Magdan Group at Spintex wouldn't settle anytime soon, because traditional authorities, priests and priestesses from some Ga communities have waded into the conversation. Key amongst them is the Lakpan Wulomo, who led a delegation of priests and priestesses to the demolition site to protest the exercise.
Ni ma da la fa mobili ne kadi wotai ne e fon fe lo e ba fe ne kame no le wadi me ka babo ade aka jema gwoji ama me tota ni sipo ne ba fe wo no ne mene so ma grace ne wo sipo no wo yo wo kadi wo nyaminu Magdan a warehouse ni aba fe le ne aba our brothers and sisters need what nime menete boyaje many ameka me laba ton ni ma fe ma mena me musumi e kokomogoloko e tu komogo sipon le diete e sipon ni me batata no e ma warehouse e o many ba kumo.
The matter received public attention after an eyewitness and a Joy News reporter, Carlos Caloni, were assaulted at the scene by some military officers. Meanwhile, the minority leader in Parliament, Alexander Aponyo-Markin, has condemned the exercise, describing it as an attempt by the government to attack local businesses.
The minority wonders why foreign businesses are doing well, but Ghanaian businesses have become targets of certain state institutions. Mr. Speaker, the recent attack on the warehouse of Magdan is something that we should all condemn. It is not proper for a country to see the unleashing of state security on the private business of a Ghanaian, whereas there is no single foreign business in our country suffering from such attacks from state institutions. This must end.
The majority leader, Mahama Ayariga, says the matter must not be politicized.
The minority leader mentioned attack on businessmen. Mr. Speaker, there is no attack on businessmen in this country. The persons that he mentioned are people that I personally know, and so when businessmen and state agencies have issues and they are being addressed using appropriate legal mechanisms. Let not politicize them.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I am Philip Latte.
Now to the central region, where senior high schools are grappling with severe infrastructure challenges, a situation the Regional Education Directorate says is hampering effective teaching and learning. The development has triggered urgent calls for government intervention. Our regional correspondent Akwasiado has more in this report.
At Feteman Senior High School, one of the most deprived in the region, conditions are dire. Nearly 80% of teachers, including the headmistress, live off campus, leaving more than 1,200 students under the supervision of just about 10 resident teachers. The headmistress describes this as a major setback to proper supervision and academic discipline.
If I say staff accommodation, my residence is part, assistant heads are part, management members, and the general staff members. It will interest you to know that just about 10 teachers are staying on campus. The 90% are outside who are commuting every day. So if we are blessed with staff accommodation, the school will be a great school.
Although the school board began a project to provide on-campus accommodation for the headmistress, work has stalled due to lack of funds.
FETA is not a very big place, so accommodation for teachers is an issue. Even renting in town is an issue. Last 2 years, we started to put 3-bedroom self-contained for the headmistress. Now we are almost at the roofing level, and we need some funds to complete for the headmistress to come and live in their school.
Regional Director of Education, Dr. Juliet Udufi Otame, told Channel 1 News that urgent intervention is critical to sustain quality education delivery.
We will term it as resources. You cannot work without adequate resources. The schools are boarding. They need the teachers on campus to check the activities of the ever-increasing students on campus. We also need classrooms. Sometimes when you go to some schools, 100 people, 100 students in the classroom, it is very disheartening.
Government is a chain of continuity, so you can attribute to the fact that they don't have. And as far as I'm concerned, as a member of parliament and also in the ruling government, any advocacy that I'm supposed to do, I will do to make sure that the leftover project shall be, given the needed attention.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education says plans are in motion to bridge the infrastructure gap nationwide. Stephen Kwaku-Owusu, Director of Pre-Tertiary Education at the Ministry, spoke to Channel 1 News on measures being rolled out.
When we came here, we also observed that the teachers, a lot of them, only few of them, about less than 5% are on campus. And it is serious in the sense that you can't have a student population of about 1,600 with borders being 1,200 with just few teachers on campus to take care of them. We need a number of teachers to supervise what they do, and therefore I'll take this up to the minister.
The Regional Education Directorate says there is an urgent need to address infrastructure gap across senior high schools in the central region. For Channel 1 News, I am Akwasiado, Gomwa Fete, Central Region.
Now, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have commenced the construction of foundation pillars along their shared border under the African Union Border Program, an initiative designed to promote peace, security, and integration across African borders. The symbolic exercise began at Newtown in the Jomoro district of Ghana's western region, where officials laid the foundation for Pillar 55. Now, speaking at the event, Commissioner General of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Brigadier General Anthony Ntem, says the project demonstrates the two nations' joint commitment to peaceful and collaborative reaffirmation of their land boundary.
The African Union Border Program, supported by GIZ, seeks to foster cross-border cooperation and to reduce boundary disputes by assisting African states to jointly reaffirm their international boundaries. Running under the theme From Boundaries to Bridges until 2027, the program provides technical, financial, and capacity-building support for boundary reaffirmation efforts. Following the successful completion of Phase 1, covering 150-kilometer stretch beginning at Pillar 55 Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have now officially launched the next stage of constructing international boundary pillars. Brigadier General Anthony Ntim described the event as a strong demonstration of both countries' resolve to coexist peacefully.
Today's occasion is about laying a renewed foundation for peace, mutual respect, and sustainable development between our two great nations. More importantly, it is about giving tangible expression to the shared commitment of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to peacefully reaffirming our common international boundaries, not through force or unilateral declarations, but through dialogue, consensus, and technical integrity.
Speaking at the event, Yassin Said, representative of the German ambassador to Ghana, reiterated Germany's commitment to supporting the AUBP with the goal of reinforcing frameworks and legal instruments that guide cross-border cooperation while fostering strong bilateral ties.
You are demonstrating your commitment to putting into practice the relevant decisions and recommendations taken by the decision-making bodies of the African Union with regard to the implementation of the African Union Border Program. On behalf of the German government, I would like to commend the boundary commissions of both Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire for their exemplary show of cooperation towards good border governance in their respective countries. Border disputes across the world can lead to unfortunate consequences. However, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire not only settled this peacefully, but have worked together to enforce the ruling. The Federal Republic of Germany is proud to have been at your side since the beginning of this process.
Dr. Okelo Sunday, Principal Programs Officer at the AU Commission, described the commencement of construction at Pillar 55 as a significant milestone and expressed confidence that the reaffirmation process will be completed peacefully and successfully. The Executive Secretary of Cote d'Ivoire's National Boundary Commission, Mr. Diakalidia Konete, hailed the exercise as historic, emphasizing its role in strengthening the long-standing peaceful relations between the two countries.
Well, that'll be all for this edition of the Channel One Newsroom on Channel One TV. Do visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for more information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel One TV on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Channel One TV. Download the Channel One News app on the Google Play Store and the App Store. I'm Charles Osukumi. Thank you for tuning in.